now tuned into TC Media, hosted by Taylor Chante, only on Station Head. Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays. Music, features, and vibes.
It's a vibe.
TC Media.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is me. It is I, Taylor Chante, TC Chante, Tay, whatever you want to call me. Just know this is TC Media, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who we have on air right now? You don't have to guess. I'm just going to tell you. Pasake's very own Kiamo. Kiamo, how you doing?
Salute. How's everything? Everything good on my end.
All right. So before we get into this interview, I did say Kiamo, right?
Yeah, you said it right.
How do most people say it?
Kiamo.
Kiamo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not Kiamo. And fun fact, I recently learned that a year ago. I'm like, I've been saying his name wrong for years. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is well anticipated. We've been waiting so long for you. So thank you again for joining TC Media. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, of course, and what you do.
My name's Kiamo. I'm from Passaic, New Jersey. To sum up everything in 2 words, neighborhood hero.
And
that's the goal. That's what I want to represent, within the music, an influencer, a young mogul on the come up. You know what I mean? If not already here, the world need to see it. That's all.
The world is definitely seeing it. You are definitely a mogul. When I think about you, I automatically think DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled is a mogul. Diddy moguls, and you're right there. You're right there with him. Of course,
that means a lot.
Of course, we appreciate that. So being from Passaic, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, I'm also from Passaic, New Jersey. So being from Passaic is such a small but very large town. How does it make you feel like you're one of the voices for your city?
Oh, man. If you believed how hard I worked to get where I'm at today, and doing the music that I do, where, people told me, like, my come up stage or whatever, yo, switch it up. Nobody cares about that realness. Nobody cares about, you got to talk like this, talk like that. And, and I always said, I'm going to be me. And that's going to be the change of a lot of things and also influence a lot of things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I hear that, it's like, I always say this is bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Right.
In every interview, whatever, you can hear it in my music, like, this is bigger than me. You see it with my team, like, this is bigger than me. You know what I mean? And what I want to represent is what you just said, the voice of the community, the voice of the city. You know what I mean? Because I'm not just a rapper, like, I literally have friends out here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like people I walk around this city, you know what I mean? Passaic is so big, you know what I mean? So just to go hand in hand with being the voice, it just means a lot, That's why I say neighborhood hero. You know what I mean?
And that you definitely are. You'll be surprised on how many people that really look up to you and admire you and are so inspired by your words. And when the first time I met you, I put a face to your name, and I'm like, I know this guy. But it never clicked that you were who you were. And that made it felt like an accomplishment to me, because I feel like now, not only being from Passaic, I was definitely like a supporter. And I feel good knowing that I was there during some of the process, and I watched you drop mixtapes and albums and EPs, and seeing you post about shows and interviews. You never stop going. And that's something that's really hard to find. You are very young still. You're not that young, but our generation, of course, how hard is it to find people to work with you in this age group, or that people that are really dedicated? Was that hard for you to find your team?
Like a lot of the dudes you see within my team that we're speaking on, these are my childhood friends. Everybody you see around me are literally my childhood friends. From the photographer, from, of course, my management team, they're a little bit older than me, but these guys knew me since I was a kid running around. You know what I mean? The guy that handles the merchandise, like, these are all my childhood friends.
Right.
Literally family, where my family knows their family. You know what I mean? Like, my family known in the city, So if you know my pops, you know my grandfather, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
like my cameraman Clinton Films, my father and his uncle were best friends growing up. And his
That's
father
so
looks at me
amazing.
like a nephew. You know what I mean? So
That's so
these are
amazing.
my manager, Poche, literally lived across the street from me on the same block, literally across the street from me. My other manager, Josh, he was on this basketball team where I was the only sixth grader on the team. And he was the eighth grader, you know what I mean? And since
Right.
then, he's been like a mentor, big bro. Anytime he see me outside, you know what I mean? We all grew up in like the same park, you know what I mean? Like playing ball at the same park, hanging out at the same park, you know what I mean? So
Right.
everybody used to literally see around me, even Police 93, childhood friends.
That's
Forever.
amazing. And that's an accomplishment I love. And congratulations to all of you for, staying true to your word and staying true to yourselves and what you actually wanted to do in life. And you guys are doing great. So now it's time to get into my favorite part. I want to talk about your music.
Yeah.
What makes your music different? Why should people listen to you?
I always say, you have a choice on what you want to listen to, but like growing up, like I listen to artists like Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie Smalls, when you heard their music, it actually took you to a place where you almost felt like you was from where they were from.
Right.
Even when you heard Nas, Illmatic, you felt like you was from Queens, or even let's say modern day Kendrick Lamar, you felt like you was from Compton.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he made you feel it, like within the stories he was telling, and within even J. Cole, like he made you feel like he was a college kid we all go through things, going through things and stuff like that. So basically, where I needed to point my story, I'm like, you know what? Passaic is different.
Definitely.
Different within culture wise. We get fly ourselves, we're tough grounded people, you know what I mean? A lot of the time. So I really wanted to give that story into like a dope way though, not just rapping, really telling a story. You know what I mean? Within not just like giving a whole song, but even in certain lines. You know what I mean? Just I want to make you feel like you understand where I'm from. You know what I mean? Because it's bigger than me. Even with my song Bishop, like I even say it, like, want to know where I'm from? Got $1 in a dream, then you consider the bum. That's real talk. Like is that real?
That's deep.
You know what I mean? Yeah, the whole first verse of Bishop, you hear me explain for Sick New Jersey,
Right.
You writing up an essay while I'm chilling with an essay. Like, is that real?
Right.
In that first verse, you know what I mean? And people that's from where we're from, they understand that, it's just a matter of time the world hears it. And a lot of the time, we all go through things that somebody across the country can relate to it, and they're going through the same thing or even worse,
Right.
So like, I just really wanted to give, paint that picture of what Passaic, New Jersey looks like, feels like, smell like within the music, within the children, us as, the teenagers, adults, even the older generation, you understand? Try to just stay influenced so the next generation, it can heal the next generation and, around the world.
When it comes to support, was it hard for you to get your own supporters, or did you just say, listen, I don't care if no one hears this, I'm gonna make sure it gets heard?
Exactly what you just said. I think a lot of artists, they make mistakes when they get upset, when they don't feel like nobody's supporting them. And definitely coming from where we come from, I was just blessed with the opportunity where a lot of people did support me, as in like, show love, and like some people witnessed it. And sometimes the people, those that didn't, when other people outside of where we're from gravitated to it and say, yo, this kid is, dope, like how's he people not bragging about it, then that's when other people gravitate to it, like, what, he is dope,
Right.
And sometimes that's just how it is. You can't get mad. You just gotta keep on working and keep on pushing and stay dedicated and understand the craft. The business is key. Understand the business, and really being consistent. You know what I mean? And
Definitely
showcase why you're so different from everybody else,
Definitely need to stay consistent. And again, understanding the business part of the music. I mean, you could write all day, you could perform all day, you can do all of that. But if you really don't understand the business side or have a team around you that doesn't understand the business, I mean, hate to say it, you're going to be staying at that stagnant point.
Absolutely. And that's why I took it for like becoming. I really wanted to become a mogul because coming from where we come from, we have a ton of MCs, but like for people to really give that, like I always saw, like look at Harlem, right? You had dudes like Big L come out, then you had Mace, then you had Cameron, then you had Dipset, then you had like all these other artists that's coming out of that place, even the Bronx, even Brooklyn. How come our city don't have that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how I see it, and that's the only way we can actually grow. And people from that, I had conversations with artists, they understand my approach and why I move the way I move. Because it's only gonna give. You understand?
Right.
And so that's why I look at this so much different, because that's why I say it's bigger than me.
And then that's
the impact.
I want to talk about investing as an artist. Because not only are you an artist, you're a creative. You do everything, and so does your team.
Yeah.
How big is it for other artists to know they have to invest?
You want to know the realest thing? I was working at the Boys and Girls Club. No lie. I was what? 18, 19. I think I was 19. I was getting paid $275 every 2 weeks. I saved up $1,000 and got DJ Absolute to host my mixtape, Diaries Written in the Garden. And that mixtape took off and got the whole neighborhood and everybody around to know, like, oh, this kid is different.
Right.
And I spent $1,000 by myself, and I was getting paid every 2 weeks. Eating cereal. Like my friends will go from balling and they all stop at Monroe Fried. You know what I mean? Right. If you're from where I'm from, you know what Monroe is. And I was like, nah, I ain't spending these $5. They're like, yo, it's only $3. Nah.
Nope, that chicken sandwich can wait.
Yeah, you know what I mean? and it was that real when I spent that by myself. And nobody understood the vision. Nobody understood it. And coming from where we coming from, a lot of people don't see it because they never saw it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's hard for them to believe that they never saw it. So that's why it means so much to me that now a lot of people are seeing it and seeing how we're moving and they're like, just like, wow, bro. And I'm just like, yo, I had this vision back then. I don't know if it was like, God said, we all blessed with opportunity and something, having that special gift, And that was something I was able to see within, we don't got to do everything that they're doing. We're going to do it like this.
Right.
You know why we're going to do it like this? Because other people are going to think it's dope. And we're not going to copy that. If we do it like that, we got to make sure we do it 10 times better, 10 times dope, because where we come from. And I always work, because we always have to, coming from where we come from, I have to be 10 times better than a New York artist. I have to be 10 times better than everywhere else. And that's how I perfected my craft. And recently we just last year, summertime, we won a contest in New York, full of New York artists. And we won, coming from where we come from. So that's just a kicker that's major, because that's what I strive for. To not just be the best in my city, but the best in the world.
And you are definitely making your way there. I definitely understand where you're coming from. So you opened up for some major names. What do you think your best performance was so far? Like your favorite performance, you're always going to talk about it.
I think one of the illest ones I always say was the Conway one was dope. Everybody, because we rented out, we got a hotel, we took the homies in a van, we all went there, had the studio set up in the hotel, like anything you would imagine of wanting to being an artist, you know what I mean?
Right.
Got to open up for Conway, you know what I mean? And that was real dope. But I think the illest one was and DJ So Real was stamped this too, that when I'm the only artist, he said, that ever had the classicals look as packed as it did in Patterson, New Jersey. He said when I walked in that room, it felt like an aura, because we were just so deep in there. And like usually when artists come perform in that club, he says, the people don't pay attention or whatever. And we literally had videos, if I'm not mistaken, I got one in my gallery on my phone, where you see the crowd, not me, they're not recording me, they're recording the crowd staring at me, just like lost the words. You know what I mean?
That's an accomplishment.
And I think that was one of the illest things. And I had all my homies on stage, and like I wasn't even like who I am now. You know what I mean? And like I remember people was coming on stage and like So Real had to say, "Yo, you gotta get." I said, "I don't know these people." You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was just like, "Yo, y'all gotta get off the stage. I gotta get off the stage," because they were just so hyped and felt the energy of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had people from my neighborhood out there, so they just it was just crazy. You know what I mean? And like that moment, just being around my guys, my friends. You know what I mean? That I consider my brothers. You know, it felt good. You know what I mean? Because I watched videos of like old hip hop videos of like the Tunnel, where you see Nas, Jay-Z, you see them all deep with their homies, and the energy was crazy, man. And it felt like the same thing, man. Really good.
I love that so much. And now I want to get into are there any goals or talks about you, headlining your own tour?
Oh man, so we just recently we're doing our own tour. South by Southwest. We're in Austin, Texas. You know what I mean? We got 3 shows locked in. March 17th. We got 2 on the 19th. You know what I mean? And like it's just going even getting crazier. This is breaking news to you, so I'm giving you this exclusively. I ain't really want to say nothing, but I just got booked for my first show out of the country in Medellin, Colombia. Yeah, so that's going down. I got a 2-day show out there. April 20th. It's a Friday. I don't know if it's I think that Friday is the 25th and 24th and 25th, or 25th and 26th. I'll be out there in Colombia. Yeah, so like things are just
amazing. I mean, South by Southwest, where are the tickets? I need parts. I gotta get in. I mean, that's an accomplishment, and I know that feels so good because I feel good about it, and I ain't even there yet. It's not even me. So I know you feel good. And then I have someone in the comments saying, "Bring us." And then you have a question. You have 2 questions actually before we get into the rest of this. What's your dream collaboration?
Oh man, I always said I love to work like artist wise. Like I always love to work with Kendrick Lamar. Besides, like anybody could say Jay-Z, Nas, and all these dudes. You know what I mean?
Right.
I always said like just tapping in with like the Top Dog Entertainment crew. I love their recording process. Right. Because I pay attention to production. Like I'm big on production. And like I always said, Dr. Dre, because what he done for like Eminem.
Love Eminem.
One of my favorite artists, 50 Cent. You know what I mean? Game also. He also grabbed Kendrick Lamar, Snoop, and just look at his influence. Like he's been in the game. NWA, then the whole Suge thing, then the whole Death Row. Then he did his own thing with Aftermath, and it was just real inspiring to me as a kid, definitely. And I said this back in. I had an interview in the Bronx, and I said, the lady looked at me like I was crazy. This is before Nipsey dropped. This is when he dropped Crenshaw. Mm-hmm. And I said, Nipsey Hussle. She asked me, who was that? And I said, Nipsey Hussle. She was like, why? Like, she was surprised. And I said, it's bigger than the music with me, but the influence Nipsey had. And I said that during his Crenshaw mixtape, because he was really talking about independence. And that's what shifted my mentality on beasting for a record deal at that time, to really understanding being independent and creating a team, and making sure there's no weak links in my team, that we're all our own bosses, we're all our own entities. You understand?
And piggybacking off what you said, you're saying that about the music part, but I have a team as well, my media team. And I always try and tell them, listen, we are only going to be as strong as the weakest person. Mm-hmm. If it's some weakness going on, I have to let you go. Be your own boss. Tell me when I'm slacking. Yeah. You understand? So I love that you use that as an influence. And now that makes me feel even better about my team. Because I know I'm cutting them up, and I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for us, and I'm doing it for the generations to come.
Yeah. That's strong.
And you have one more question. Somebody says, Hania says, I just saw South by Southwest on Instagram. Bring us. If you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be?
I feel like people are afraid to have their own mind and own opinion on something.
Right.
Like, I feel like, you know, I can't even say that. I feel like everybody doesn't need a voice in this. Like for real.
Right.
Because I feel like my man did a review, right? We was on Facebook and they have these little Facebook groups. I advise all artists to do that. Use all your social media sites. Be on Facebook. They have these groups where people can review your music. You can pay them up to $2, $5, $10, and they review your music. So this is something I tend to do to be like, just to, you know, if I got a single I'm working on, I want other ears to hear it besides my crew.
Right.
So one of the songs that's buzzing around here and everybody likes to talk about is Cuban Link, right?
Right.
Cuban Link is a real song, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
That song is real, like off La Costa Nostra, like everybody feel it, you know what I mean? So this girl's vibing to it and this dude's vibing to it, and then he cuts the music. He says, I can't listen to music if it ain't got no ass, talking about no ass shaking in it, or it ain't talking about selling drugs and drinking lean. And I just feel like, and these are people that's giving music reviews. Do you understand?
Right.
Like, I understand, like, I'm not a fan of Lupe. I'm not a fan of, like, I don't listen, when I mean fan, these are people I don't listen to every day.
Right.
Of like Common and these dudes every day. You understand? But one thing I'm not going to point out is that I'm not going to listen to it because I don't like what they're saying. It's just, and I'm not going to say this is how you should go about it. I'm not going to say that because who am I to say that? So who are you to critique something? You're giving music reviews to people that, you know, paying you and want you to enjoy the music and, you know, give direction. If you don't have direction for it, because you don't listen to that style of music, don't try to critique it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a problem because that's also tearing artists down because there's no artist development. So you tend to hear a lot of artists sound the same. Definitely. You know what I mean? And artist development is real key because I went through artist development with my cousin Celissa. You know, shout out to her. I was 17 at the time. Like I wanted to rap, and this was when I was going by the name Soda American Dream. And she really taught me about branding and understanding brand. And like she was like, cuz she asked me a real question, like, where do you see yourself like as a hip hop artist? I said, you know, I want to be like, you know, at the time, you know, you see how Hov move, Fab move, Rick Ross, Maybach style, Don Status, stuff like that, you know, Nas, they all move like that. And I said, I want to move like, you know, like that. She was like, well, you need first of all, your appearance needs to change.
Right.
Your name needs to, the whole thing, broke down the whole thing for me. And I said, wow. And then in 2018, I went through a whole depression stage where I felt like giving up music and I didn't understand. And I said this, I thought I was like, you know, I got to give it up, but not knowing that I was actually outgrowing myself. I outgrew myself.
Wow.
And that's when I changed my name to Kiamo. And that's when I started saying, you know what, the brand.
I love that. I love that you had that inspiration around you and you actually took note. You didn't take it as someone telling you what to do and then you're just going to go out and do it. It's really hard to find artists that listen. And I think that's one of the main problems in the industry is that nobody wants to listen, but they all sound the same. So now as we're still speaking about your music, I want to get into your latest project. You got time for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about it. So I can't speak about this album without talking about your daughter. How has being a father changed your life?
Man, it's a beautiful thing, man. And the more I become the older I get and I'm with my daughter, you know what I mean? I start to understand my dad.
Right.
And why he was the way he was. You know what I mean? Within the discipline, you know, being structured, you know, carrying yourself the right way, you know what I mean? And just getting up and working hard, man. You know, it really shaped me into that point. It just, you know.
Did having a daughter make you softer or did it toughen you up a little more?
Oh, man, I'm soft. You know, I'm soft. But, like, you know, I have a stepson, but I just call him my son. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's just fun, man. Like, I don't understand how, you know, just how can you not be in your child's life as in for a father figure or a mother, like, being a parent is like key to me, you know. It makes my day. This is why I go so hard with the music, you know, for my family and, you know, and teach my kids, like, if you got something you believe in, you know, stay on top of it, believe in it, and just keep going. Don't stop, man. Regardless of what anybody thinks. And
you gotta do it, man.
The first thing I told my daughter And the first thing I told my daughter when she was born, she not gonna understand it, but I said, if people call you weird, that means they don't understand you.
Wow.
That's the first thing I said.
Wow.
So if people saying, "Oh, she weird," or they don't, that means they don't understand you, baby girl.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay.
So of course I couldn't speak on, I had to talk about Baby Girl before we got into La Cosa Nostra. Tell us about that. I want to know the writing process. I want to know your favorite track, and I want to know, how did she impact this album?
Man, I took a whole new approach on this album, man. Like we recorded a documentary of it, and we went to different studios. We even ended up before DMX passed 2 weeks prior. We went to Rough Rider Studios in Yonkers, and that's where we recorded Cuban Link, Port of Miami, and the intro. And we went to Tub Life. We just went to different studios. Excuse me, and we should showcase working with other artists, and the feeling was just crazy, man. Like it was just like, because for people that don't know, I record my own albums and everything myself in my crib. Yeah, like in my crib, in my own zone. Like my next album I'm dropping on Method 2, like East Side Story, that's already done. That's submitted. You know what I mean? The album is done. You know what I mean? And we did that on the crib, like, in the dungeon, and I really wanted to showcase people, how I could also produce. Like, you actually see me not just record and just sit down in the room. No, I control the room. I control the engineers. I tell them, I want this to sound like this. We want to move it like that. The doubles, we want to bring them up, and just showcasing that was real big for me. And a lot of the people that were at the sessions, I'm usually in my zone just recording by myself. So this is the first time for a lot of people to actually see me record the song, because a lot of my friends, they only see it when the process is done.
Right.
But to actually witness it, like, this guy just, my first session at DFG Studios in Orange. And while I'm saying this, I hope artists is taking it down to reach out to these studios and get some work done. But DFG,
I actually worked at that studio.
Yeah, DFG Studios in Orange. I had a 3-hour session, 2-hour session, and I knocked out 5 songs. Just banged them out. Boom, 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 boom. Next, let's go. Load it up. Boom, boom. And then we use the last hour, of course, let them edit, do what we gotta do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just banging out the records, And that was really showcasing my, my management team and everybody, like, this is different.
It definitely has to be. So what's your favorite track on the album?
Wow.
He's Cuban like, all of them my favorite.
Yeah. But Cuban Link really means something to me. Cuban Link really means something to me. And then when you guys, I'm dropping the music video for Port of Miami on Wednesday. When you see the music video, you understand why it means so much to me. Because
we're gonna air that right on here. We're gonna air it right here. On TcMedia. Listen, we're gonna have an exclusive release too for you.
That's love.
You have to. So a lot of people only talk about the glitz and the glamour of the industry and recording and whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
What are some challenges you may have had, whether it's with studios or people around you or engineers or just yourselves? Because sometimes you are, your worst enemy. Like when it comes to something you love, you can come down on yourself a lot, and everybody's like, you love it, and I'm like, nah, it could be a little better. So what are some of the challenges you face?
Sometimes I paid people when they wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, we're supposed to get business done, and you pay people, and then they forget that business is supposed to get done.
Right.
Remember what I said earlier in the interview, I'm a business artist. You understand?
Right.
Like, this whole thing is trademark LLC. Like, I carry myself that way. So I feel like if you're playing around, that's disrespecting all the hard work that I put in just because you feel like it's whatever to you.
Right.
Other things, sometimes friends don't see the vision that you have. You understand? And it will hurt you, But, I read something on 50 Cent. 50 Cent said, there's one thing when you start arguing with other people. But once we start arguing with each other, it's when all disrespect is gone. When all the respect is gone.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Like 50, he said there was an incident where Nas had a show, whatever, and he felt like Nas didn't have control of the room because all his homies started fighting within each other. And 50 said, you know, they wasn't able to do the show anymore because of that incident. And he felt like Nas didn't have control of the room. Nas didn't have control of his homies. Nas didn't have control of this and that. I'm going by what he said.
Right.
And what that did to me was like, I can't have nobody else mess this dream up. Because who else is dependent on this dream?
Right.
So it's really like, you know, I can't bring y'all here anymore. I can't, you know what I mean? I love y'all, you know, I got a goal, I got a dream, I got a vision where it's not just about me. So if y'all don't care about it, then, you know, I see y'all later. I see y'all when I see
No love lost.
I mean?
It's just, you know, I got to get to where I'm going.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, you don't respect it, you know, and it's just, you know, there's a ton of more things, you know what I mean? You can lose yourself in the process, you know, where business plans don't go the right way, you know, or when you're trying to help out, you know, certain friends to build a business and you're like trying to be hands-on with them, but, you know, they got one foot in, one foot out, you know, and they'll break you down because you, as you're going up, you want to bring these people with you, but you know, the more you do that, it's just slowing your car down. You understand?
Okay, I get it. And it takes a lot to, you know, admit that, and you know, sometimes say see you later to people, especially on your way up, because you always get that, oh, you think you're Hollywood, or you're too big for me now, or that always comes with it. But sometimes it's just like, I gotta get to where I'm going. I want to talk about the artwork for La Cosa Nostra. I know a lot of people probably don't ask you about artwork. That stood out to me. That whole cover is what I always tell artists and my clients that come to me. First impressions are everything. If I see a whack flyer or a whack party, nobody's gonna go. I'm not going. You understand? That artwork was deep. It kind of gave me a feeling of Nas. It kind of gave me a feeling of Common. Like, it didn't feel like new school music. It was very old school, very classic looking. How was that process? And did you pick that out yourself?
Yeah. And the picture, if you look at it, you see half of my face in the beginning,
yes,
front of the album. So you see half of me, but with my daughter, you get all of
me. Which explains the backside.
You know what I mean? And like the meaning of La Cosa Nostra is this thing of ours. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just telling my story, I'm telling everybody who's around me. This is our story.
I love that so much.
This is our story. So that's why I say you get all of me.
And you did an amazing job with that. Listen, I love it. And you know, someone who does media and who does graphic design and who does cover art, that stood out to me a lot. And I know you're very busy, so before we get you out of here, is there anything that you would like to ask me?
Oh man, do you love what you do?
I love what I do. The day I stop loving it is the day I quit. The day that starts to feel like work for me is the day I quit. This is my passion. Media is, I was born for this.
Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 years?
3 years. I'm going to have a studio open in the middle of Times Square, where it's going to be not only a recording studio, it's going to be a film studio. And then upstairs, it will be a restaurant, because food and music is all I know, is what I love to do. And I'll have a bigger team, and I'll have a client signed under me for media.
That's powerful. One more thing.
Got you.
If you had the opportunity, if somebody said right now, call you right now, hey, I need you to come to let's say California, because I have a media opportunity for you, you know, I think it'd be dope. You know, what would you say to that? Like let's say right now they needed you, let's say by tomorrow.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna call my team and be like, listen, I told you I got us, just have my back. I'll let my assistant, she's trained up enough to be a CEO. And that's the thing. When you have a team of people around you, you need to make sure that if you have to step up as the CEO, you have someone else that's going to run a business just like you would. I'll tell my team, listen, I got to take this trip out to Cali. It's for us. I'll be back. And then what it is. I'm doing it for us. Later on, I'm sending all of us to Cali. We all going to be here. If this is our new home, then if it's right, it's right, and we'll just do what we do from Cali.
Nah, for sure.
But
For sure, that's down.
I'm never gonna leave my team. I will be nothing without. I did this alone for 10 years.
Yeah.
So now that I have a team, it's just like, listen, y'all, we going.
Nah, for sure.
Whatever I do for us. And this is why it's so important to make sure your team is treating you right as well. Because who's to say tomorrow someone doesn't call me and be like, listen, TC, grab your client, grab your whole team, and we out. And I'm gonna just grab my client, I'm gonna grab my team, and we gotta make it do what it do.
Sure, I love that.
So of course, you go. Please let everyone know where they can find you.
On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Kiamo World, KIAMO World. You can find me. Yeah, man, we working, man. We got an album coming out on Menta 2, already wrapped up, done. Whole thing produced by my man Conspiracy. You know, we're performing South by Southwest weekend, March 17th to the 20th from there in Austin, Texas. So much more is happening right now behind the scenes. I don't want to let go all of it, you know what I mean?
Of
We're
course.
gonna let things as
You
time flies.
Home right here to let it out when you're ready.
Yeah.
And please do me a favor. Please shout out your team. I mean, they're all doing a fantastic job.
Oh, for sure. Shout out Lord Entertainment. Lord Entertainment, Quentin Films, Fleeces 93, Corner of the World. You know what I mean? We got something stirring up called Cornerstone Mafia. I got my little brother and my cousin Nas a part of it. You know what I mean? They're handling the whole street team, tour managers. That's them, my little brother and my little cousin Nas, you know, that I got them a part of this music thing and really understanding the business. And, you know, we're moving strong. We're only getting better and getting bigger from here on out, you know?
Again, I want to say to you, congratulations. I'm super proud of you, especially coming from the same town. I mean, look what we're doing.
It's major. It's only going to become impactful. You know, the more people hear it, it's going to be impactful. And this is just day one of it. Matter of fact, day two, because we did work together. You know what I mean? We held it down at the pop-up shop. Salute to you. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, I get the call. I'm there. It don't matter where it's at. You call me down the street and I'm going to pull up.
For sure.
And you have to grow with the ones that are growing around you and with you. There's nothing worse than being left behind because you weren't ready to grow yet.
Yeah.
And that's with anything. So keep writing, I'm gonna keep hustling, keep telling your story, and keep being the face of where I'm from. Because right next to you, I'm gonna be right there with my microphone and my camera, like
yeah.
I got you. I'm super proud of you and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, got you.
Of course, we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.
All right, no doubt. Peace.